Hey guys, thanks for joining me today. I'm sitting down with Trevor Mower of Weave. Now, they've got an amazing exclusive offer for you guys at the very end. You don't want to miss it. Hey, thanks for joining us today. I'm here with the business development partner manager of Weave, Mr. Trevor Mower. Thanks for taking the time to join us here today, Trevor.
Hey, thanks for having me, Amit. Excited to be here.
Absolutely. And it's a nice day here in LA. I don't know how the weather is over there, but a lot of people in my audience probably don't know who you are actually. In fact, I just met you just a few days ago. So if you don't mind, before we really dive into what you do and Weave, can you tell us a little bit about your journey into the hearing care space?
Oh yeah, for sure. I don't have as many certifications around me as you do, Amit. So I need to I guess I do better do a good job introducing myself. So
There you go.
I've been at Weave for 3 years now, and I started out on the sales end at Weave, and then I've been in the business development department for the last 2 years, specifically working with our partnerships. And we have incredible partners here at Weave. We're pretty selective about the partnerships that we bring on. And so I help them onboard Weave. I do the training for different partners about different aspects of Weave. I let everybody know what's happening with Weave. Um, just a little bit of a background about the company.
Mhm.
Weave is has been in the healthcare space for about 8 years now, and it's a really incredible tool. We'll get to talking about that in a little bit, but it's really neat technology too. And what really took us off was when our founders they went to Y Combinator and they were accepted into Y Combinator, and they got a lot of really great backing and we're able to produce some really cool things going forward. So we're based here in Utah. It it's nice out today, Amit, but probably not as nice as where you're at. There's still a lot of snow up on the mountains, which is nice. We like to ski, so if anybody's ever out to Utah, come visit. We have a big building here. It's really nice, and we'll take you skiing. So
I've actually been to Park City a couple times, once to go skiing and once for a audiology business meeting, and it was just being up in Park City was just something else, and seeing the Olympic ramps and all that good stuff. So I'm actually a more recent fan of Utah, where when I was younger, I was like, why would I go to Utah?
well, come on out, Amit. We'll take you.
Yeah. Yeah, I think these old bones may not appreciate skiing as much as I used to, but yeah, I will take you up on that. So here in my office down here in Los Angeles, our phone system is a voice over internet protocol system, or VoIP, and I know you know about it. Maybe some of our audience members don't know about it. However, it does the job. I mean, for example, if somebody dials our phone number, it rings on our side, and we answer the phone, and it works. But that's about it. Like it's very lacking in terms of technology and some of the customizations that I'd love to do with it. Um, I know that I did a demo, and you know this too because you did the demo with me. And I did this demo with you the other day, and it's like, wow, the tools and the resources that you guys have put into this system is so powerful, but it's so easy to use. Like it seems so simple. It was like using a smartphone on the computer. So compared to what I have now, or even phone systems from even 2 years ago, it's like jumping to a really high tech smartphone versus a flip phone. Would you kind of help us understand what the Weave system is and how it can actually benefit us in private practice?
Yeah, yeah, awesome. And I mean, you did a great job of describing it there because that's the best way that I love to describe what Weave is. It's taking smartphone technology and applying it to your office phones. And
Mhm.
so it's so interesting because we use our smartphones for everything, right? Like my whole world is in my smartphone. And so it's crazy when I think about it because, like you said, we look at our office phones and we're still using those same office phones that we've had for forever. We talk
Right,
to different healthcare practices and they've had the same phones for 15 years when a new smartphone comes out every year, right? With
right, right.
new, new great technology. And so what we does is it takes that functionality of a smartphone and the great communication tools that are in a smartphone and applies it to the same office phones that you already have in your office. So Amit, you have those office phones there that you have, and those are going to be the similar ones that you have at Weave,
Mhm.
or the Weave phones that we send out, and they're going to be that same platform, have the same functionality that your office phones have. But what Weave does is it's going to take your OMS, your computers, and your your OMS, your computer, and your phones that you have in your office, and combine them all into one system. And then on your computer, it's actually going to have the application of Weave right there, and it's just like a smartphone interface, just when
Yeah,
the same thing that you'd have.
it was so cool. So from my perspective, when I looked at it, it was up on the desktop, and it was just like the smartphone. It's like our home screen of the smartphone was right there, and you can control it and do all kinds of fun stuff with it. One of my favorite features, and I know you're going to talk about this hopefully right now, is when you miss a call. So let's say a patient calls your office, you miss the call, you have a system, the system is actually set up to actually send back a text message to that person. So it keeps them engaged. So let's say it's an opportunity, somebody, who's looking for new hearing aids and they're calling your office and somehow you didn't answer. Let's say you have your phones are going crazy and somebody didn't answer. You actually send a text message back. So that's actually one of my favorite features. And then you also have another feature where if somebody misses an appointment, you actually have some features built in there as well. But before you touch on those two things, would you mind telling us maybe some of your top favorite features of the Weave system?
Well, Amit, you hit on my favorite one, and I kind of want to go on it a little bit more, if that's okay.
Yeah,
Uh,
please.
so the missed call text, it's my favorite thing to talk about because I get a really good reaction when I talk about it. So I speak for Weave at times, and it's the one that gets people to say wow. And so what it is say that you have a new patient, somebody moves into the area and is looking for a service, looking for an audiologist near them. The first thing that they're going to do is they're going to go into Google and they're going to type in hearing center near me or audiologist near me, and they're going to they're most likely going to call the number that appears at the top of the list, right? And so I know a lot of the people watching here, they spend a lot of time and effort and energy to get to the top of that list on the Google
Mm-hmm.
Care. And so what happens if that PCC at the front desk isn't available to answer, just like you described, Amit?
Right.
They're helping the person that's right in front of them. And so with Weave, that opportunity doesn't have to be lost. So that phone call, it goes through, the PCC is not able to answer it right away. The person that just called in, they're going to go move right down the carousel, the Google carousel, and probably call that next number on the list. But instead, if the office uses Weave, they're going to get a text message as they're about to call that next number. And it's going to say, hey, this is Trevor with Dr. Amit's office, right? And it's just going to say, come back. I'm sorry we missed your call. You can text me right here, or we're going to call you back within a couple of minutes. And what we're seeing is people are actually preferring to engage through a text message right there. And so
Right.
that conversation is picked up. We have some incredible results from it where people just say, like, honestly, people say, wow, this is a great service. I was just looking for new hearing aids and they came in. And we know that offices are paying a lot of money to have those phones ring, right? Um, a new patient and uh, a customer calling into an office, we found on average is it could be about $4,000 that 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 you're trying to get that new customer into the office. So just saving one of those customer engagements and bringing in that new opportunity could be about $4,000, which would pay for Weave for pretty much the year, right?
Right. Yeah, I know that the cost of setting up some of these phone systems can be tremendous, and I know that you guys have a great offer, which I'll explain in just a moment. But before we do that, you guys are uh, you guys are actually some of my colleagues, some of my very close friends are actually using Weave already. And in fact, I believe one of them is how we actually got connected is because they were just bragging about how awesome the system was. What are some of the other reasons that people may want to join Weave and start using this product?
I think that why Weave's so popular is because of the ease of use.
Yeah.
Again, I keep saying this over and over again, but it's that smartphone technology. I mean, I have a 2-year-old daughter, and she'll go in and she's able to pick up my smartphone and find the apps that she wants, right?
Yeah.
And because it's so intuitive. And again, that's what we're trying to bring in here. And so when I think about like other features that I love of Weave too, one thing that comes to mind is we take it for granted a little bit on our smartphones of when somebody's calling in, like their picture appears right on our phone, right on our front screen right there. And we know who we're talking to right away. What Weave does is it does the same thing, so that when a patient calls in, you can, the patient profile will be brought right up, right when you pick up the handset. And so you know right who you're talking to, and you can build that relationship right away. And we know, especially in audiology, that caring for your patients is something that you take to heart. And so building that relationship is just huge. And we think that we're able to skip some steps when you're able to know who you're talking to right away, instead of answering and say, is this a patient of record?
Right.
Or something like that. You know?
Yeah, you just sound more prepared when you're answering the phone and you know who it is and you already have their stuff pulled up. I mean, you guys are layering this on top of some of the OMS systems that we're already using. And I understand you guys are even trying to work up some partnerships with some of the other ones too. So hopefully very soon we'll be able to use this with every OMS system that's out there. And again, the neat thing, again, with the demo that we did, you were showing me that once it pulls it up, if patients have balances or if they have appointments coming up, everything's right there at your fingertips. So you don't have to guess and be, asking the patient, hey, do you have an appointment coming up? It's right there in front of you.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. It's you're right. It's so simple to use. I do want to talk about this because I think this is huge. And this is probably one of the biggest offers that we've actually seen, at least on my perspective. So you guys are offering anybody in our audience here today, if they contact Weave and they use the code AudBoss21, that's AUDBOSS 21, it's actually going to be right down here, scrolling on the bottom here. You're going to get 20% off your monthly service, right? And you're going to get half off your installation. And you guys are even offering up to 5 free phones.
Yeah. And honestly, this is a pretty sweet deal, Amit.
Yeah. No, that's like a 4D. I mean, that's a big deal because I know my previous phone system in my previous practice cost me like 20 grand. And then on top of it, I was still paying per month to use the system. So this is significant.
And again, this is something where we love working with you, Amit, and with April, and so this is a pretty sweet discount and pretty sweet promo. So we hope that you guys take advantage of it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's really, when you brought it to my attention, I thought, any typos here, guys? Let me just make sure I understand this right. It's a really nice deal. So we really appreciate that, and we appreciate you guys offering that. So I guess before I let you go, do you have any kind of like final words you want to share with our audience about Weave or you or Utah?
Just about Weave in particular.
Good.
Something too that we're offering this pretty steep discount. But one thing too is we never have any contracts. And so we want to earn your business every month. And so we're just saying, give us a try, prove it for just sign up and we'll get rolling. And I think that again, we just want to earn your business every month. And that's really who Weave is at its core.
And I'm sure that anybody who signs up, they'll recognize how valuable this is on day one. Hey, Trevor, thank you so much for joining us today. Get out there in that beautiful Utah weather, and folks that are watching, get Weave.